Imagine a hidden switch inside your blood vessels, a tiny molecular lever that, when flipped the right way, can slow down the very clock of aging in your arteries. For decades, scientists suspected that one humble nutrient, long associated with pregnancy and green leafy vegetables, might hold unexpected power far beyond its classic roles. Now, a major scientific revelation has brought that suspicion into brilliant focus. This is not about miracle pills or futuristic gene edits. This is about a naturally occurring compound, already present in many kitchens and medicine cabinets, stepping into the spotlight as a formidable defender of heart and blood vessel health, especially as we grow older. The story begins not in a clinic or a hospital, but deep inside the delicate lining of our blood vessels. Think of these linings as living wallpaper, dynamic, responsive, and absolutely essential. These cells do far more than just form a barrier. They actively regulate blood pressure, prevent clots, repel inflammation, and ensure smooth, quiet circulation. When they function well, arteries remain supple and resilient. When they falter, when they age prematurely, the consequences ripple outward. Blood pressure climbs, vessels harden, plaque takes root, and the risk of heart attack or stroke rises. This slow erosion of vascular youth is one of the quietest yet most dangerous drivers of age-related disease. What accelerates this erosion? Oxidative stress, the biochemical equivalent of rust forming inside metal pipes. Just as iron reacts with oxygen to form brittle rust, our cells generate reactive molecules during normal energy production that, if left unchecked, damage DNA, proteins, and membranes. The body has its own rust inhibitors, antioxidant systems powered by a crucial molecule called NADPH. NADPH is like the battery that recharges the cell's main antioxidant, glutathione. Without enough NADPH, the defense grid collapses, and damage accumulates. Here is where the discovery takes a fascinating turn. Researchers recently peered inside aging blood vessel cells with unprecedented clarity and made a subtle but world-altering observation. Not all NADPH is created equal. The cell makes this vital molecule in two places: the main cellular fluid and the mitochondria, the energy factories. Surprisingly, it is the NADPH floating in the general cellular space, not the one deep inside mitochondria, that dwindles first with age, acting as the canary in the coal mine. When this pool shrinks, the cell's ability to neutralize threats weakens, and the aging process accelerates. But why does this specific NADPH supply run low? The answer points to an enzyme long known but newly appreciated, G6PD. This molecular machine is the chief architect of cytosolic NADPH. As cells age, G6PD tries valiantly to keep up. It revs its engines, increases its activity, but often, it cannot produce enough to meet the rising tide of oxidative threats. The system strains, teeters, and eventually succumbs, unless something intervenes. Enter folate. Yes, that same folate recommended for expectant mothers, found in spinach, lentils, and fortified grains. Until now, folate was celebrated for helping build DNA and keep homocysteine, a harmful amino acid, in check. But this new work reveals a deeper, more dynamic role. Folate does not just sit passively in metabolic pathways, it reaches out and gently nudges G6PD into higher gear. It does so by engaging in a quiet biochemical handshake with another enzyme involved in folate processing. This interaction stabilizes and energizes G6PD, allowing it to churn out more of that life-sustaining NADPH. The result? A cascade of protective effects. With more NADPH available, cells rebuild their glutathione reserves. Their frontline antioxidant troops return to full strength. Oxidative damage is mopped up before it can trigger inflammation or scarring. But folate's influence goes even further. It reaches into the cell's command center and quiets a protein that acts like an aging alarm bell. This protein, when active, flips on a set of genes that push cells into retirement, into a state called senescence, where they stop dividing, spew inflammatory signals, and gum up the works. Folate, by dampening this alarm, helps cells stay youthful, functional, and cooperative longer. How do we know this is more than just lab magic? Scientists tested it in living systems, first in cells forced to age rapidly by chemicals, then in naturally aged animals. The contrast was striking. In those receiving steady, long-term folate support, arteries remained remarkably supple. Their walls did not thicken or stiffen. Scar-like fibrosis, a hallmark of aging vessels, was visibly reduced. Molecular markers of cellular exhaustion faded. It was as if time itself had been gently dialed back, not reversed, but slowed to a more manageable pace. What makes this discovery so electrifying is not its complexity, but its simplicity and accessibility. Folate is not a rare compound synthesized in billion-dollar labs. It is abundant in nature, inexpensive to produce, and has a long history of safe use in humans. This is preventive medicine at its most elegant, strengthening the body's own resilience using tools it already recognizes and trusts. Of course, science demands caution. Mice are not people. 12 months of supplementation in a short-lived animal does not directly translate to decades of human intake. The ideal dose, timing, and form, natural food folate versus synthetic folic acid versus the active 5-MTHF form, remain active questions. Some individuals carry genetic variations that affect how they process folate, and in rare cases, excessive synthetic folic acid may have unintended effects. Crucially, folate is not a substitute for managing blood pressure, cholesterol, or diabetes. It is not a get-out-of-jail-free card for smoking or chronic stress. Rather, it appears to be a powerful reinforcement, part of a layered defense strategy. Think of vascular health like maintaining an ancient, intricate city. The roads are the arteries. The traffic is the blood. The engineers and repair crews are the endothelial cells. Over time, potholes develop, pipes corrode, signals misfire. You can wait for collapse and then rebuild, surgery, stents, medications to manage the aftermath. Or you can invest in daily upkeep, clean water, skilled inspectors, preventive repairs. Folate, it turns out, may be one of those quiet, consistent maintenance workers, polishing the pipes, reinforcing the bridges, keeping the signals clear. This insight reshapes how we view nutrition. It is no longer just about avoiding deficiency. It is about optimizing function. Just as we now understand that vitamin D does far more than build bones, it tunes immunity, modulates mood, folate is emerging as a multitasking guardian with a special affinity for the cardiovascular system. Its role may be especially vital during midlife and beyond, when the body's natural defenses begin to wane and the cumulative burden of metabolic stress grows heavier. The implications stretch beyond heart disease. If folate can delay endothelial aging, it may also influence brain health, since stiff arteries impair blood flow to the brain, and kidney function, wound healing, even erectile health, where vascular tone is paramount. Every organ depends on a healthy, responsive circulatory network. In a world saturated with quick fixes and flashy breakthroughs, this story stands apart. It is not about disruption, but restoration. Not about overriding biology, but supporting it. It reminds us that sometimes, the most profound innovations lie not in inventing something new, but in finally understanding something old, truly, deeply, mechanistically. This is not the end of the story, but a compelling new chapter. Clinical trials in humans are now the essential next step. Researchers will look for real-world signs of benefit, improved artery flexibility, lower inflammatory markers, fewer cardiovascular events over time. But even before those results arrive, the message is clear: nourishment matters. The food we eat, the nutrients we ensure, the foundations we build each day, are not just fuel. They are signals. They are instructions. They tell our cells how to age, gracefully or grudgingly. And in that daily choice, between processed convenience and whole, vibrant food, between neglect and mindful nourishment, lies a quiet power. A power that science is only now beginning to measure, but that nature has known all along. If this discovery sparked something in you, if it made you pause and think about your own vitality, your long-term health, or even how you fill your plate tonight, then you're already ahead of the curve. Because knowledge like this isn't just fascinating, it's empowering. It reminds us that aging isn't a foregone conclusion written in stone, it's a process shaped, every day, by choices both big and small. So before you go, consider this: the most powerful medicine might not come in a vial or require a prescription. Sometimes, it grows in the soil, waits in your pantry, and works not with force, but with quiet, persistent intelligence, supporting the unseen rhythms that keep your heart beating, your mind clear, and your life rich with possibility. If you found this deep dive meaningful, give it a like, share it with someone who cares about living well, not just longer, and hit subscribe. Because the future of health isn't just about breakthroughs in labs, it's about bringing those breakthroughs home, into our kitchens, our routines, and our daily acts of self-care. Stay curious. Stay nourished. And remember, the smallest molecules can carry the biggest hope. See you next time.